Hi, this is Ron Darling with SNY TV. You know me from covering the Mets, and I hope you get a chance to listen to MetsMusings with Gary Mack. I had a great time. I hope you do too.
MetsMusings is an unofficial, independent podcast covering New York's National League Baseball team. It is not affiliated in any way with Major League Baseball or the New York Mets.
This is Len and Jeff from Baseball and Barbecue.
And the one place to go for New York Mets news,
Past week game reviews,
upcoming series previews,
interviews,
analysis,
opinion, and what's going down on the farm. It's Mets Musings with Gary Mack. So keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.
Mets Musings with
Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. The axe is fallen. Step one. Step one has taken place today. Dave Island, Chuck Hernandez, bullpen coach, out of here. They're gone. They're finished. Replaced by Phil Regan as a pitching coach. Ricky Bones comes back as the bullpen coach. And they added another position, and the name escapes me. It's a pitching strategist job. What it is, it's not defined yet. Could be a liaison between the field staff and the front office, but it's a younger guy, a cardio, I believe his name is. Let me see if I can look it up. But the Mets have made a major move, and one that had to be made. Little shocking with Phil Regan. That came out of the dark, but Phil Regan is a baseball lifer. Yes, I know. He's 82 years old. And let me tell you something. It was disgusting to listen to the radio, sports radio, and hear all these people, including the great, the sports pope there, Francesa, pontificate about how this guy is so old and making jokes about it's going to take him long to get out to the mound because he's 82. This is not an 82-year-old guy with a walker. This guy throws batting practice. This guy is probably in better shape. In fact, I know he's in better shape than Mike Francesa. And half of these people calling in and making these jokes about, he taught the Ming Dynasty how to throw a curveball. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a-holes. You're morons. And not to mention, the age discrimination that these people are talking about. We got rid of an older manager. How's that working out? We brought in a young GM. How's that working out? So, don't tell me this guy can't communicate. He had these kids, a lot of them, in lower ball. He knows this pitching staff. He's been with this organization for years. He's been in spring training for years. He knows he's forgotten more baseball than Mike Francesa and half of these callers ever will learn. Is he the answer? I don't know. But that's why he's interim. He doesn't want a full-time job. They wanted somebody to bring in here. And he's a loyal organization, lifetime baseball guy. He's seen it all. He's managed on all kinds of levels. He's managed in the minors. He's managed in the majors. He's managed in the winter leagues. He's coached in the majors, in the winter leagues, in the minors. He's been a coordinator of minor league pitching. He's been a scout. He's done it all. He knows a lot. And he's worked with a lot of these guys. And that's why one of the reasons they brought him in. He knows all of these guys. It's not like he's coming into a fresh slate, meeting guys that he doesn't know and he's got to learn all about them. He knows them all. He's handled them all at one point. So to make the statement, oh, he's an old man, and he don't know how to handle. How's he going to handle these young players? He knows how to do it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Jeremy Accardo, that's the other guy. He was the bullpen coach for the Syracuse Mets. He is now going to be the pitching strategist, whatever that is. He could end up being the next pitching coach. Maybe they felt he needed a little bit more seasoning, or maybe they felt this is a better position for him. We'll see. Ricky Bonas, he knows these guys. He had this bullpen. He knows how to run a bullpen. He's been around. And of course, as I said, Phil Regan, but it was really disgusting to hear these people on the radio to kill this guy already and make jokes about his age. Now, what will Jeremy Accardo do? We don't know. He's a former major league pitcher. He served as the Mets minor league pitching coordinator. He was the Vegas 51's bullpen coach last year, and I think this year he was either in Syracuse or he was the Mets minor league pitching coordinator, and he may have been in Syracuse in that capacity, but maybe they didn't feel he was ready yet. He has a 7-year-old daughter that was recently diagnosed with cancer. Maybe they thought it would be too much to give him the full-time job now, and while he's dealing with this, and who knows what the reason is. The thing is that Phil Regan is the pitching coach of the New York Mets on an interim basis right now. So deal with it. So what went on this week? Well, unless you live in a bubble and do not get cable or the internet, you would know that the Mets lost 3 out of 4 with another despicable performance by the bullpen over the weekend, and then dropped 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. And I think it's clear from the Atlanta series that this team is not competitive enough with a team of that level. Yes, they won a game. But you could see how Atlanta does certain things that the Mets can't do. And it's in the construction of the team. A lot of the runs lately have been scored by home runs. Well, that's good and it's bad, because if you don't hit home runs, you don't score runs. And that's what happened last year. You need a better all-around setup, which they were getting early in the year, which seems to have escaped them of late. So we asked the question, are they going to be buyers or sellers? And got some interesting responses. I would say the majority of people that responded agree with me that they have to, that they're sellers. They're going to be sellers. That there's no sense of what's going on to keep this lunacy going on. You move what you can and try to rebuild. And if it's done well, teams can rebuild quicker than you think. Look at the Braves. The Braves didn't take them that long, a couple of years. But it's got to be done right. It's got to be built. Your team's got to be built through the minors. And it's got to be built with some speed. It's got to be built with some power. It's got to be built with some pitching. I think the Mets' problem is they try to build with pitching all of the time. And it doesn't always work. It just doesn't. I can't tell you why. I don't know why, but we heard from Elijah in Florida, and I'm not going to read it this week because I've got another email that's quite long. I don't want to bore everybody, but he's coming out on the spot that they really need to be sellers. Can't see how they can squeeze out a playoff spot, and I happen to agree. And he seems to think that they have to trade Syndergaard, Wheeler, Lugo, and Rosario. You know what? I'm not totally against that. I would throw in Diaz, too. If you can move Diaz, fine, move him. If you can move Cano, even better. And Lugo, too. I'd like to keep Lugo. You see, I think you can rebuild quick enough if you make the smart moves. There are pieces here. Let's not forget that. We're not totally without pieces. It's just not all put together right. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, you got Alonso in the infield. You build around a guy like that. You got Conforto in the outfield. You can build around a guy like that. If you want to keep Rosario, that's fine. I think Rosario's going to be a chip anyway because I think you've got replacements. I mean, Ruben Tejada is hot. He's hitting like crazy down in AAA. So, and we know he can field the position. So maybe you go with him. It's not like it would be that awful. Andres Jimenez is at Binghamton, and he's going to be good. He's supposed to be very good with the glove. Haven't seen much of him yet, unfortunately, but he's supposed to be good. So there's two guys right there. Lower minors, they've got shortstops that are awesome and ranked very high. So, you know, they may not work out, but I'm saying they're there. So Rosario is expendable, I think. Cano is definitely expendable. You put McNeil at second and you're set. Bingo, bango. And you look, I like Dominic Smith. You put him in the outfield, let him work. Maybe he can develop into a better outfielder. So there are your pieces. That's what you build around. You have to get either a center fielder or a left fielder with a big bat to complement Alonso and to cover him and Conforto in the lineup. Or you go the opposite direction. You get a speedster that hits for a high average for center field. You've got Smith, Conforto, and a speedster in the outfield. Good defense and a new dimension. Need somebody at third that can be more consistent than Frazier and J.D. Davis. There's too many guys that have the same position. Why did we sign Jed Lowry? We don't need him. Why did we trade for Cano? We don't need him. What we needed was a young outfielder in the minors to come up. And we traded him away for a broken down old Yankee second baseman and Diaz. Mel Rojas reborn. See, that's where our mistake is. We needed to keep that young outfielder that could hit. Could you imagine a year or two with Conforto and Kelenic in the same outfield? We miss Brandon Nimmo in this outfield because he knew how to get on. And I know he got off to a terrible start, but I believe he was hurt. I believe Familia was hurt in spring training and never told anybody. That's what we need. Reliable, good people. All right, let's take a break. I think I may have a microphone issue here. Might have to switch a battery. Let's take a break, and we'll be back after. Let me find it now. Back after this.
Hey, baseball fans and book fans as well. This is Frank Nappi, author of the Legend of Mickey Tussler series, inviting all of you to learn more about my protagonist, Mickey Tussler, an incredible pitching prodigy who has autism. Follow Mickey's journey as he captures the hearts of fans everywhere with his blazing fastball and indomitable spirit. Please visit Amazon or www.franknappy.com for more information.
Hi, this is the world-famous Mr. Bruton of BrutonSports.podomatic.com. You know, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, Bruton Sports. You can also listen to the show at Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com, and iTunes.com. And we've got the new one. It's called BrutonRadio.weebly.com, but the one that I'm most proud of being on is BaseballPodcast.net. It is the home of great baseball talk shows. Check it out, my show and all kinds of other programs all about Major League Baseball. So check it out. That's baseballpodcast.net, the home for great baseball talk shows.
516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show, and drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail question, anything at all. Call that number 516-619-6341, or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings, and the Twitter handle is at MetsMusings1. And if you'd like to help out the show, check out our Patreon page. Check out the campaign at patreon.com/MetsMusings.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Gary Mack.
And thank you, Ron, so much. And really enjoyed my interview with Ron Swoboda. And if you happen to miss it, it's available at MetsMusings.com. Go check it out. The video or the audio version, both of them are on the site. Go check it out and listen to that interview. It was really entertaining. And you can also catch the interviews with Ron Darling and Art Chimsky and Tim Healy and Ken Davidoff. All of these, or all the episodes, are available there on the website. So please go check it out and check out our YouTube channel and leave a subscription. And if you will, please go check out my other YouTube channel, Talking Golf with Gary. You golfers out there, there's got to be Met fans that are golfers, don't they? I can't be the only one. I hope you go check out Talking Golf with Gary at talkinggolfwithgary.com. And check out my golf podcast as well. Have some great guests over there as well. I interviewed Retief Goosen and Cindy Miller and Dennis Walters, two Hall of Famers there. Retief Goosen and Dennis Walters just got into the Golf Hall of Fame, so World Golf Hall of Fame. So please go check that out and leave a subscription on my YouTube channel too, if you will. Please subscribe. It helps us immensely. All right, the other night I was thinking of this. Last night, as a matter of fact, that also got an email. What brought it up was got an email from Jeff on Long Island, and Jeff sent me a non-rant rant, and Jeff's had it up here with Familia. Wants him to go. Can we send him down? Jeff, I don't know. Interesting question, though. Can he go down to the minors? Well, he's hurt now, so it really does kind of a moot question at this point. But it got me to thinking. Diaz is terribly mentioned, and he wants Mickey Callaway's head on a silver platter. I think he'll take a bronze platter or anything at this point, but even an aluminum platter, I think. Jeff, thanks so much. You keep me going and keep my spirits going. But I was thinking that I was wondering how much of this pitching could be from the change in the catching staff, complete change. I mean, last year we had Plawecki was still here, and that was a bridge. This year we have Nito, who has experience with these guys, but Ramos came in cold from the outside. And you just have to wonder that maybe it's got something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe they don't like the way the games are being called now, the pitchers. Targets, who knows, anything. I know sometimes catching can help a team or it can hurt a team. So I don't know what the deal is there. I know they have a bunch of prospects. I don't know what the future holds with them for catching. Catching seems to be there aren't really a lot of dominant catchers anymore around the league. Maybe the guy in Washington, Philly. That's about it. You don't hear a lot about other guys dominating like they used, Bench, and you had Bench and Grody playing in roughly at the same time, and you had Munson and my mind is going. Colin Fisk. This guy I couldn't remember Fisk. Ugh. And there was a couple other guys around that time, and you just wonder if that's got any effect at all on the bullpen, on the pitchers, on the starting pitches, because it's just too big of a collapse to wonder otherwise. But who knows? All right, we've got, that was bugging me the other day because you did have Plawecki and Darno here, and even though Darno was not here last year, you still had Plawecki, and these guys had grown with Plawecki, and now Plawecki is gone, and Darno is gone, and you had Nito there, but I think Nito maybe's got to play a little more, and let's see if he'll hit a little bit better. Who knows? I don't know. But I think this team has to be sellers at the trading deadline, and we'll talk about that till we're blue in the face till the trading deadline comes. But it's time to move some of these guys. This stretch of games is going to, and I know I goofed up the teams last week. This stretch of games is going to be very important. Played the Cardinals, didn't do good. Played the Braves, didn't fare well. 4 games starting tonight with the Cubbies. Then they come home for the Braves. I think I do not have a schedule in front of me. I have to get one in front of me. And then they play the Yankees again, and it's just not getting. And the Phillies are in there. It's a tough road. It's a tough road, and they don't look like they're ready to start that journey. And we will know more after that road, because I think it's going to be a bumpy ride. I think it's going to be a really bumpy ride, unless something, unless Phil Regan can notice something to get these relief pitchers. Maybe spot something that they're doing. Spot something that the starters are doing, and maybe the way they've been being prepared wasn't right, and Ricky Bones can prepare them better in the bullpen. It all remains to be seen. But if something doesn't change, it's gonna be a short season, and really we're gonna talk more about trading than anything else. We've got a voicemail from our good friend Mike, the old grubby glove, and he's coming all the way from San Francisco, and he's got a voicemail for us that we're gonna play right now.
Hey, Gary and fellow listeners. It's Michael out here in San Francisco. I'm checking in. I am totally enjoying the show this year, every year, of course. Loving the interviews. We'll try to get my hands on the books. I think our San Francisco Public Library will have them, most of them. I want to tell you, Gary, I really do enjoy the format right now. I especially like the opening monologue, and I don't want to lose that. The direction that the show went, as long as you brought it up in a podcast a couple of editions ago, I don't really care that much about the team that's coming up. I'm more interested in our team and, goings on with our guys. But if you talk to podcasters or bloggers from other teams, I suppose that's okay too. But I'd like the emphasis on our Metsies, who are trying my patience. Win 1, lose 1. Win 2, lose 2. Do something good, then do something stupid. And the bullpen. Oy vey. I don't know. On the philosophical front, why do we why are we Mets fans? Why do we get behind the most neurotic team in all of professional sports? I ask myself that, yet I have to tell you I wouldn't have it any other way. Maybe I should examine myself, but I'm a Met. It's too late now. So I'm keeping the faith, and I'm staying optimistic. Let's go, Mets.
And thank you, Mike, from San Francisco, the old grubby glove. Thanks so much, Mike, for checking in. Why do we? I don't know. I think it's just ingrained in us now at this point that we're Met fans, and there's nothing. It's very easy for people to change teams. I mean, you can you could see why. But to stick with a team through everything is even tougher to do, and I think that's more of a sports fan than anything else. Let's be honest. Do we all get frustrated? We all don't watch games for a while, maybe. I've skipped a couple of the games because I follow on the radio, or I follow on the phone, I should say, because it's frustrating. But, I think that's called being a human being. So it is what it is. We do the best we can. I actually considered stopping doing the podcast because I was getting frustrated, and I didn't want to be negative every week. I didn't want to come on here and rant. But people talked me out of it. So and it's partially, I guess, one of the reasons he was talking about with the format, with considering a format change, just doing interviews. But let me tell you, it's tough doing it. I mean, it's tough getting those interviews sometimes. You got to work at that. And but it is what it is. We are Met fans, and that's it. And the bullpen, I think you summed it up best. Oy vey. That's it, They are a disgrace right now. They should be ashamed of themselves. And, man, it's tough. It really is tough. But I want to thank you, Mike, for calling in anyway. Yeah, hang in there. Try to stay optimistic and keep the faith. And we'll be back after these little messages.
Looking for great Cardinals talk? Then check out Conversations with C70. My name's Daniel Shoftaw, and I talk with some of the great bloggers on the internet today about their teams. It always comes back to the Cardinals. Find the latest episode on my website, www.cardinal70.com, or at baseballpodcast.net.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with Mets Musings and other great baseball podcasts.
With all the Mets news, it is the news from around the world and around the corner. Here's Gary Mack.
And that sound is called Down on the Farm, and we're going to do things a little differently this year. We're going to just try to give you some highlights. Actually, I was thinking of really doing a Cyclones report here. The Brooklyn Cyclones started their season, and I used to do a podcast called Cyclones Fevercast, but really just became too difficult, and to be honest, the audience wasn't there for that. But I thought of doing it here, being that they're closer to us and all of that. But we'll continue with doing Down on the Farm with some news from the farm. And, so what's going on. Pitcher Tony DeBrell continues his strong season for St. Lucie. He's off to a really good start. And look at this. Ruben Tejada hit for the cycle the other night. Hit for the cycle and went last night for AAA Syracuse. He's 29-year-old. He said he spent the first 6 years with the Mets, and now he's back again and hit for the cycle. So, maybe you could move. You can move Rosario. Who knows? You got Ruben Tejada to bring back. Wouldn't that be ironic, huh? Anyway, other guys, look, as I said, the Cyclones are off to a terrific start. And they're 4-2 going into tonight's game, and they played very well so far. Nathan Jones, one of the top pitchers that the Mets recently drafted, and struck out 5 in his Cyclones debut. They were good. And he only waited like 3 days of the season before he got to pitch. Sometimes when they come, they draft these guys and they come to Brooklyn and they got to sit for a week or two. I don't know why. It's just the way they do things. They got him in right away, though, and he pitched 2 strong innings in his first outing. He struck out 5 and allowed just 1 walk as the Cyclones beat the Aberdeen Ironbirds 4-1. And as I said, the Cyclones are off to a nice start, 4-2. They are on their first road trip to Lowell, who they beat the other night, and they lost last night to them. Don't know what the score is tonight so far, but playing a Lowell spinner, so come on Cyclones. And like I said, some other prospects throughout the minor leagues are starting. Let's see. Syracuse starter Chris Mazza was named the International League Pitcher of the Week for the week ending on June 16th. This is the second time Mazza has earned this award, and his third time in his minor league career. He has been named as the pitcher of the week. I wonder why or when we're going to see him, for that matter. I guess they feel he needs some more seasoning. Keeps pitching like this, though, he's going to be knocking on the door. So, he shut down the Gwinnett Stripers, who was second in the league in homers and third in hits and runs, and shut them out for 8 innings. He struck out 8, allowed just 2 hits, with those hits being a soft liner and an infield single. Overall, only 3 batters reached base safely, with only one of them getting into scoring position. He has pitched well, Mazza has, since his promotion to AAA. In 3 of his 5 starts, he has allowed 1 run or fewer, and has quality starts in 4 of those 5 starts. During this impressive stretch, he has a 2.53 ERA. So keep your eye on Chris Mazza. We could see him by the end of the year. Who knows if they trade? If you move a Syndergaard or a Wheeler, you got to bring up somebody. Anthony Kay was moved up to AAA Syracuse. He struggled in his first couple of outings. He's getting his. That's the best way to put it right now. He's getting his feet, and he's finding his place. And from him very, very soon. And that's going to do it for this week with the down on the farm. I really didn't prepare that well, and I do apologize. Next week we'll work on it a little more. It's a very busy week, and then with the news with Phil Regan and the firing of Dave Island, it just skipped me. But I wanted to get it in there because I thought it was important. All right. So this is what we got. We got a new pitching coach. How long do we have before a new manager? I don't think it's going to be long. Usually they do the pitching coach first. You're not going to fire the hitting coach because they've been pretty well hitting. And they just hired him this year. Island had to go. I'm not upset about it at all. I don't know if anybody else is out there. It doesn't bother me at all. I thought he had to go. I thought you had to do something to shake this team up. He came in so highly touted that that's why you had to get rid of him. Because they are so bad that a message had to be set somewhere along the line. The bullpen coach, I'm a little surprised at. But it could be a telltale thing that they didn't feel the bullpen was ready. The guys were not ready when they came into a game, or something. Something happened there that the bullpen coach went. Maybe we'll know the story sometime. We'll see. But that's the interesting thing to look into from my point of view. I don't know if anybody else thinks it's interesting, but I think it's interesting that the bullpen coach was fired as well as the pitching coach. And it's the bullpen that's so terrible. Maybe it's just unlucky, Maybe they just said the bullpen stinks and we'll get rid of the bullpen coach as well. I don't know. But they're both gone now. So, adios. I think Mickey Callaway is not far behind unless they can turn it around, unless Phil Regan can work some sort of magic. And don't forget, Van Wagenen does not have any loyalty to these guys. He didn't hire them. These were Alderson hired them. Alderson hired Callaway. He hired Island, and he hired D. Sarcina, and we've already gotten rid of a hitting coach last year after last season. Van Wagenen brought in Chili Davis, so he ain't going anywhere. Now he's brought in Phil Regan and Jeremy Accardo. And so we'll see. What is the connection there? I don't know. And Ricky Bones he brought back. So interesting to see. Like I said, he doesn't have any loyalty to these guys. He's saying all the right stuff, but he really does not have. It's not his guys. He can always argue to management. So we'll see what happens from here on in, whether or not Callaway survives the year. I don't think he makes the All-Star break personally, but you never know. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for listening. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you listen or watch the podcast. Hit the subscriber button. That helps me grow the show and expand to new listeners. And until next time, remember, boy, it's tough. I keep saying this every week, folks, but it is tough. Keep the faith. Try to be optimistic. And let's go. See you next time on another episode